Welcome to Lost But Found. My name is Sean, and today we have a very important topic to talk about, which is transgenderism and Donald Trump's ruling as he's just entered his 2025 presidential term, where he came out and pretty immediately just came out and said there are two genders, male and female. Now, for some of you living here in America, this is very problematic, and there's been a lot of discourse online of parents and individuals feeling unprotected by their president. Now, this isn't to attack anybody with that belief or ideology of themselves. This is truly an attempt to try and help you. Just to start off, the issue is the full conversation is never had in the social discord, which is very disappointing. And so I want to help disrupt some of this. Now, the first thing to address is people feeling although they are in the wrong body, feeling although their consciousness was downloaded into the wrong vessel. This is a very irrational conclusion to get to. The issue is we never talk about how does somebody get to the place of feeling they are in the wrong body, because the sensation and feeling of being in the wrong body, that is a symptom. Now, this is very important to point out because in the attempt to solve any problem, you have to find the root cause of the problem. An easy example of this is if somebody walks outside, it's cold outside, and then they catch a cold. The deliberation about what to do next and how to prevent it isn't to fight and bicker over what cough medicine or cough drops to use. The conversation needs to be about, hey, why weren't you wearing a jacket outside when it was cold? Very easy distinction. Now, in transgenderism, obviously getting to the root cause is a little more difficult than just putting a jacket on. But these are distinctions that are known and they are not widely talked about. And this is very sad because a lot of people grow up in America and then they feel this pressure of, I don't feel like I'm in the right body. I don't understand what's going on with my hormones. I don't understand why my mental perception and my physical reality aren't meshing. Now, these are very easy points to address. Now, in terms of root causes, there are three, at least known, potential root causes as to why somebody might feel they are in the wrong body. The first one and most important one has to do with the spine. The spine is so important to understand because it controls everything. It controls all of your hormone production. Now, if your spine has deviations in it, it's going to produce irregular hormones. Your body's not going to be doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now, if somebody spends a lot of their childhood not addressing this issue, over time, these deviations are going to continue to develop in the improper expression of how they are meant to. Now, this is why chiropractic care is truly healthcare. And getting into the healthcare system and addressing the differences between the healthcare system and chiropractic care, which is true healthcare, and healthcare is sick care, that's a different conversation for a different day. But chiropractic care is the single most important thing you can do to get your body to produce and express itself as intended to be. Now, the second potential root cause in modern times is everybody should be well aware by now that humans are pumping hormones into the animals that we end up eating. Now, there is censorship of information. People will say that these hormones leave the animal's body prior to human consuming it. This is just another easy point to disprove because, these hormones are very similar to steroids. When humans use steroids, there are permanent changes to that human. So are we really to expect that we're pumping animals with hormones and it's not altering the expression of their hormones that then we digest in our own systems? This is very easily a potential reason as to why people whose bodies do not regulate these additional hormones very well, they're going to experience irregular hormones, and that could push them and their body into a physical and mental relationship where the mind and body sense irregularities, but the modern human might not have the perception to truly decipher what is going on in their body. This is a huge implication to understand, because most people are feeling these irregularities as they're developing and through puberty, and they don't know what's going on. And the educators, the authorities, the government, we're not properly dissecting this issue. People on one side will say it's a mental illness. And while that isn't technically wrong, it's not doing any justice, and it's just insulting people. For people who believe that it's a mental illness, you have to really understand that a human's ability to overcome the added hormones that are being put in meat right now is based on genetics, and it's luck. Your body either responds poorly to the added hormones, or your body is able to overcome those hormones. And frankly, it's not that people are intentionally avoiding these things. In the most case, it's based on luck. So if you are somebody that hasn't been impacted, try to show those people who have been impacted a little bit of empathy and understand that it's just not simply a mental illness. It's a misunderstanding and an imbalance between the mind and the body, which interact and send each other signals. Now, a lot of those signals are subconscious, and at times, as the human operator, we need our consciousness to decipher what's going on. And that's part of educating each other. But if that education isn't provided, hopefully people can start to see how easy it would be for somebody in this predicament to believe they're transgender, of course, without all of the information. Now, the third and final root cause are plastics, which we are consuming. It's been deemed the modern American is consuming about a credit card's worth of plastic each week. Now, these are very harmful plastics. There are probably over 100 different forms of chemicals and plastics and different variations of bad things that end up in the microplastics getting into our food, getting into our water, anything that we consume. We don't fully understand the impact of these things, but we do know that there's research to show that these things impact animals and their reproductive systems. And so, just based on easy logic, it would be very easy to apply that it's very likely the same thing has happened to us, humans. And we know that the human male has about 50% less sperm than males 50 years ago. Probably a pretty good indicator that the plastics that we're digesting just to make consumption and capitalism easy are impacting us in an unnatural and unhealthy way. Now again, this isn't to criticize or make people who view themselves as transgender feel bad. This is truly to try and help you. And the thing is to understand that people that go through transition truly afterwards aren't very happy. They don't feel better, and the statistics prove that. And the main reason to understand why that is because the the root cause wasn't addressed. Mutilating genitalia, pumping yourself with alternative hormones. This is just masking symptoms. It's not addressing the true root causes, which are imbalances of hormones, deviations in the spine that are creating those imbalances of hormones, or over ingesting plastics that are altering your hormone functions. Now, this is a topic that hopefully can just be made very mainstream, very well known, to give people the information they've been missing. With this information, as parents and individuals, as a parent, it's your responsibility to make sure that you get your kids checked out, check their spine, get their hormones checked. Don't just allow negative propaganda to just ruin your child's life. Don't let this invasive false narrative take over the culture of your household, which truly this invasive evil propaganda has taken over the American culture, to where adults are participating in mutilating children's genitalia. Like, this is honestly insane that we've gotten to this point. Again, this isn't to attack people, because a lot of people have been conditioned in this country to believe that. But it's time that we start talking about the truth, which is these issues stem from deviations in the spine, added hormones that we're putting in our meat, and the plastics that we're consuming a lot of our food and beverage from, that are altering hormone production, thus getting people to the place where they feel they are in the wrong body. Before we start pumping ourselves with alternate hormones and moving towards gender affirmation, we have to start by addressing those key issues first. Now, anybody who wants to discuss this more with me one-on-one, I would love to do so. Please reach out to me at seanlostbutfound@gmail.com, and let's continue the conversation. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and let's get this message out there. Let's help people, and let's save children that truly know better. They don't have the resources to understand what's going on with themselves, and they're being conditioned by adults to believe that they are in the wrong body. And then they make a decision before potentially even being 18 years old to alter their body in an irreversible way that changes them for the rest of their life. And I want you to think about the implication of that, and what people who are experiencing this are really going through by having adults do that to them. And then they go through this surgery only to understand afterwards that it didn't change how they felt. The implications of that are scary, evil, and need to be addressed with truth. Please spread the message, and have a lovely day.